I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like just because of one single game.
My teammates take constructive criticism. I get on them, they get on me, and it's all positive, and we know we're just trying to get each other better.
What's going on, everybody? This is the Heavy on Hoops YouTube channel where we cover everything women's basketball, particularly WNBA basketball, guys. So if there's something you're interested in, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and share this video, because today we're going to kind of do a bit of a 2025 review of one of the hottest basketball players in the WNBA, and Angel Reese. So again, guys, go ahead, like and subscribe, and let's go ahead and get to it. So Angel Reese is one of the lightning rods of conversation when it comes to the WNBA. And I particularly find her fascinating, not just because of her on-court play, but because of her personality off of it. But to me, she is at this crossroads in her career to whether she kind of embraces this villain role, which she's talked about before, she's had no problem embracing, or she embraces that icon role that so many before her, like your Lisa Leslie's, Cynthia Cooper's, Asia Wilson's, so many of them have kind of embraced, you know, in their WNBA journeys where they end up becoming the face of the entire league. And that is the type of potential I see for Angel Reese, because it's like on the court, she's already producing at a level far beyond a second, third year player. Because in just 2 years, she's already a two-time All-Star. She's already been an All-WNBA player. She's led the league in rebounds. And at this point right now, she is currently the best player on the Chicago Sky roster, and she's just going into year 3. So what does all of that scream to me? In all honesty, she kind of seems to be on a trajectory to potentially be a Hall of Fame player as she keeps going at the rate that she's going right now. But, and it's a big but, she has to obviously continue producing, but she also has to grow. And when I look at her stats where she's averaging almost 15 points per game, again, this is for 2025, she averaged like 14.7 points per game, 12 rebounds. Was it 12 rebounds? Yeah, she averaged 12 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 1.5 steals, and 0.7 blocks per game. But now we have to look at her stats. And going 2 seasons in, when we look at the 2025 season, she averaged 14.7 points per game, 12.6 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 1.5 steals, and 0.7 blocks per game. And while improving her field goal percentage to 45% from a pretty not so great 39% from what it was from her rookie year, she's trending upwards as a player. But we have to keep it 100 here. Her team finished dead last in the WNBA, 10-34, with her as the best player. So even though she's producing at a solid level, her team overall is not reaping the benefits of that production. And this is what I argue just off of what I've seen from Angel Reese up to date. I personally believe, even though she is one of the better young prospects in the WNBA, a top 10 player at her position in the WNBA, one of the best young players in the WNBA, she may be miscast in the wrong role. I'm not sure if she is probably a number 1 option on a winning or a championship team. So when I watch her play, I see somebody that's all hustle, all heart. I think of an old school player of the WNBA that some of you may or may not know, Rebecca Brunson. And she was a grinder. She got to it, particularly on the boards. And that's how I look at Angel Reese. But she's a cross between that and another player because she has a little bit more offensive game to her than maybe Rebecca Brunson. So don't come at me. Don't come at me too hard, guys. But I honestly see some shades of Candace Parker. And I say that because of her passing vision and, you know, her defensive ability. And now she's not the scorer that Candace Parker was. She does not have the footwork. She does not have the finesse in her game that Candace Parker has. She's not that type of super polished player, but her ability to play at to play as a big and also have guard skills, that's something that's actually pretty rare at her position. And honestly, if I made an NBA kind of comparison, I would be looking at kind of like a fusion between like a Dennis Rodman and a Draymond Green type player, where it's like, it's all heart, all hustle. And, you know, there's the Draymond Green aspect where he's not a particularly polished offensive player, but he was able to contribute a little bit more scoring wise than, you know, a Dennis Rodman per se. And that's kind of how I see Angel Reese. And funny enough, her primary, you know, quote unquote nemesis via the media, they pit against each other. They actually would pair really well together in the kind of Draymond and Steph kind of dynamic, where you kind of have that defensive rebounding enforcer type along with the sharpshooting scorer. You know, they would actually, her and Caitlin Clark probably would actually work extremely, extremely well together, funny enough. But anyway, I think that she's a bit miscast in her role. So it's going to be hard for her team to really function as a winning team in the WNBA when you have a player functioning as a number one option that's probably not really offensively a number one option. But she is their most popular player, so you kind of have to, you have to market her. So it's like, to an extent, I kind of get it. But the part where I feel like Angel Reese really struggled was off the court. Her maturity was questioned on two separate occasions, particularly when it's like she got suspended once during the season, and then later on September 2025, in an interview with the Chicago Tribune, she stated, "I'm not settling for the same bleep we did this year. We have to get good players. We have to get great players. That's a non-negotiable for me." And so that's raw honesty. And I honestly get it from a frustrated season. Like, who wouldn't want to do better? But there's just certain things that you say in front of the media and certain things you don't say in front of the media. And she took it to a point where it literally did look like she was railroading her teammates. But she did walk it back. She did take some sense of accountability when she stated later, "I probably am frustrated with myself right now. I think the language is taken out of context. I really didn't intentionally mean to put down my teammates." And so again, that's accountability, but by then the damage was already done. Combine that with the back injury that she sustained towards the end of last season, and she ended up sitting out the remainder of last season. People were already starting to start rumors that she decided to sit out because the team had no chance of competing for a playoff slot. So she pretty much quit on her team at the end of the season. Now, that's unfair to her for that to be said, but when you make comments like that, then it gives reason for people to kind of snowball certain things. And again, this idea that, you know, you're not satisfied with your team, and now you got an injury at the end of the season where you could conveniently sit out. It's not fair to her that people ran that route, but I mean, it's just part of what happens with sports media. People are going to speculate, especially when they know you may not be in a situation where you're 100% happy. So we have to ask the question, where does she go from here? Because just as she is fiery off the court, I feel like she needs to channel some of that injury and to concentrate on how she communicates off of it, because there's going to be a path that she ends up going down, and there's going to be one where she's like an icon for a sport, for the sport, or the villain. And the truth is, maybe she'll end up being a bit of both. And honestly, that duality might just be what women's basketball needs, because let's just be honest, people have not always tuned in or said that this was the most interesting or fun league. But ever since Angel Reese has been there, she's definitely injected a sense of personality that this league has never had. It's something that's needed and necessary. That raw emotional vulnerability is not something that people have, you know, always gotten from WNBA players. And it's impactful. When we look at her social media accounts, her Instagram has 5.1 million followers. That's more than the WNBA's Instagram account. So she has power. She has a say in shaping the perception of what the female athlete looks like for this generation and generations coming after her. My question, kind of looking at this from where it's going, on one hand, there is this tension, and that fascinates me. And on the other hand is the conversation, because she's hesitant to engage with the platform that really amplifies her. And as someone that has claimed that she is the reason that people are watching women's basketball, not just Caitlin Clark, fair question raises, can you lead the narrative if you're not willing to tell your own story? Because here's the truth, it's like when you embrace that icon role and you're saying things like, Caitlin Clark is not the only reason people are watching women's basketball, I'm also the reason. You can't just sit back and just pick and choose and nitpick when you want to speak, or you can't just only speak on your platform, your podcast. You don't have that luxury. When you step into that space, that spotlight, it's a 24-hour job, and you can't just show up when it's comfortable. So the criticism, the pressure, the misquotes, that's the price of being a cultural force. So Angel's challenge now isn't just proving her worth on the court, because she showed that she's a top 24 player, top 25 player in the WNBA at this point. Her challenge now is showing that she can handle the weight of the influence off of it. Because if she learns to channel that same fire she plays with into how she communicates, she could control her own story instead of watching others just write it for her. And that's where the real crossroads is. Villain, icon, or maybe a bit of both. Because if she finds that balance, Angel Reese won't just be a headline, she'll be a legacy. So how do I personally just feel? Like when it all boils down to it, she is the player with the potential to be the face of the WNBA, and maybe even the face of all of women's basketball. And she means too much to the league, to the culture, and to the next generation of athletes to let the weight of the pressure of media destroy her. We've seen this done not necessarily for WNBA basketball, but just other athletes and entertainers. We've seen how the media will eat you up and destroy you if you're not strong-willed. Be able to speak to your own narrative, be able to defend yourself, be able to speak up for yourself, and being okay with understanding that people are going to think differently than you without crashing out your whole life. So I see a player who has everything it takes to be at the core of a championship team, but also it has to be the right situation. So does the Chicago Sky have to give her the right structure, the right environment, the right team, because she has a real talent that could really be the core of a championship, because she can't really walk into a situation of being the number one option and you expect her to lead a team when she just does not. That's just not her game. She's not creating off the dribble like some of the other bigs. And that's not to say that she'll never be able to do it, but she has not really shown that type of fluidity as an athlete to be able to lead a WNBA offense from that aspect. But as the ultimate support player, the ultimate heart, the core of the championship team, she could absolutely do that. And that's written all over her. But there's that challenge though. She's going to have to be able to tune out the noise, because they're going to come for her because she's outspoken. She's not afraid to speak her mind. So she's going to have to be able to black out the noise and not let that bother her play on the court. That fire, that boldness that can ignite everything, or it can burn everything down. It's a double-edged sword, and how she learns to balance it will be what ends up defining her legacy. Will she be the villain or the icon, or a combination of both? Truthfully, I don't know. I kind of see her as a combination of both, but I would truthfully hope that she kind of falls more so into that icon territory, because who doesn't want to see people win? I would much rather see somebody win versus they, fall in their face, or you have people that come and eat you alive with every single mistake and misquote. Be bold, be ferocious, but at the same time, don't succumb to the pressure, because they're going to come for you regardless. That's just a life lesson, But tell me, what do you guys think in the video? Villain, icon, or a combination of both? What role do you see Angel Reese going down? That's my video though, guys. I'll holler at y'all next time. Peace.